right, boys. Happy Monday. Let's get to it, boys. Woo! Starting out the morning 200G with an EGR fault on an open circuit, so let's get into this one. All right, boys, you see right there, this thing's got just about every possible EGR fault you can get. Everything down from the driver's side, the signal side, mismatch, and obviously engine derate. On the back side there, you got that stupid little plate. The DPF bracket's kind of in the way, but you can unbolt that. And then you can see it. There's the connector. I've got it disconnected right now. Let's just verify we can get it open. But there you guys go. At least for the most part, the wires are remotely responding. So, all right, so at standby, we do have signal. We also have our supply, and we do have our driver circuit. So as you guys see right there, there's your signal going back to the ECM. Granted, the fault's not active right now, but the way it seems like it's a current draw issue, as it's trying to pump current to it and it's not responding. So we're gonna go ahead, I've got an EGR valve already for it, so we'll go swap it over and then retest it. All right, so you got your original one. This one's pretty much stuck in here. And the new one, well, obviously it's a new butterfly. It's gonna move fairly easily. All right, boys, there she is, all installed. That little cover right there will make you question some things in life. But aside from that, fairly easy EGR valve installs. Deere, all I'm asking for is when you're doing a regen, can we get a progress bar? Hey guys, so the regen completed. No issues, no codes. Finalize our repair. Boom, there you go. Harness test is done. Boys, apparently this thing is not really feeling me anymore. So it coded out again this afternoon. Same faults with the air throttle valve actuators. Well, by looking at the codes, it's looking more like we got an issue with the driver circuit. So let's start it up. Let's see what it does. All right, so the driver circuit. You guys see that right there? The sensor supply is fine as well. All right, more Deere harness fun. Watch the loop. Engine's running like shit. Hey, it works again. Well, boys, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe there is a problem in this section of harness that was rubbing on one of the heater lines on the right side of the engine block. So long and short of it, the old 724, this unit right here, it needs a harness. It's like $4,800 from Deere. So we're waiting to see what the boss man wants to do. But we will see. I might just kind of replacing a section of that harness. Yay. All right, so the debate of Cat versus Deere. I think this right here pretty much puts it in perspective here. Cat makes heavy equipment. They don't make fucking farm tractors. They don't make pulling tractors. They do not do anything farming. Not anymore. Deere, on the other hand, stay your lane. Either that or start becoming like Komatsu and do something fucking different. Do something that's going to challenge the industry. Do not just keep trying to compete against Cat, because you're going to lose that fight every day of the week. Just look at the amount of money Cat puts into engineering, developing, all that shit. Deere does that for the ag side, but they don't sure as hell do it for the construction side. It just is what it is. Cat will always beat out Deere. Point blank. But if you're looking for a cheap machine, cheap-ish, Deere. So let's get Monday number 2 going. Let's go. Starting the morning out, we got this Dopstat here. It's not starting, so let's go ahead and give her a jump start. 21 volts is just not going to be enough to get this unit going. Let's give her a jump. See if this little unit right here gets her fired off. Oh yeah, boys, got her fired up. This battery was weak, so put her in 12 volt mode and she got her. And she's charging good. I'll take that. Let's go. All right, 300G, as in, geez, we're missing some shit. Like that side cutter. Where'd you go? And while waiting for that, where'd this one go? Well, you know what time it is there, boys. Time to break the old torches out. Well, that's not going to work. There's fail number 1, 2, God knows what of the day. And this is also a cutting edge style bolt, so it's got a square drive in it. The other one was actually just a traditional bolt. Fuck! Alright, 410E2. It's apparently got a fault code, and it's derated. It can barely make it up the hill. So let's hook up to it with old service advisor, find out what we got. Well, right off the rip there, we got fuel rail pressure is low, as well as fuel rail pressure being extremely low. And for shits and grins, let's go ahead and derate the engine. Just in running it, fuel dosing, inlet pressure, yeah, mismatch, ECM's not happy. So we're about 500 hours since the last fuel filter change, so we're going to go ahead and tackle that and order the rest of the PM kit for this fucking. Boys, the fun never stops. The fun never stops. So I noticed this staining on the bottom of the truck, and I noticed some oils all around here, and broke out the old bore scope, and yeah, so there you go. There's your crank. So the front seal looks like it's blown out. Awesome sauce. I wonder where all that rust could be coming from. Nah, couldn't be from there. I mean, you can tell it ain't rained in a while because, yeah, the wiper blade and the wiper arm is supposed to be attached to the wiper transmission. 300D right behind the 410E. Operator states, light on the dash, and then shows me a picture. Let's see. Not a rocket surgeon, boys, but it looks like that pulley may have grenaded, and where the hell is the belt? Found the belt, and it found the fan clutch. All right, boys, let's get Wednesday going. Woo! Let's get ready. All right, Ford 650 got a fault code. Let's get the old top down out. All right, so we got a lot of EGR flow issues, as well as air filter restriction, which is not really the end of the world, but turbocharger overboost condition. Old girl was moving some air. Yeah. Man, we got, looks like high particulate matter. That's a lot of soot. So with soot load at 224%, I wasn't able to force a regen on that one. So we got a Hitachi 85 that we got to put that joystick grip on so they'll stop complaining. So let's get that done. Hitachi 85. Let's see if we can get this joystick handle swapped over real quick because they need the machine as per usual. Gonna need you. You guys unbolt this side panel right here. You can access the 8-pin connector for the old joystick grip. You punch out the old roll pin. Guess what? Boom! Comes right on off, boys. All right, boys, joystick's all installed, all nicey nice, and look at that. There we go. We got movement. All right. Woohoo! All right, so we got the old field service umbrella out. We try to get this harness at least started today, and worst case scenario, finish tomorrow. I had to open the bag up and take a look to verify, and everything seems to be correct here, so we're gonna go ahead and keep moving forward. Get in the middle of something, guess what? Pack up. You got a flat tire on a fucking loader, and I'm in the midst of everything being out. I love this career. Well, boys, engine completely stripped. Old harness out of it. So I'm tired of getting rained on, so we're gonna call for today. And tomorrow we'll get the harness routed, everything put in, hopefully as nice as possible, and we're going to try to route it differently so we don't run into the deer problems. And on to tomorrow, boys. All right, boys, let's get Friday Junior going. All right, boys, so we're back out here on the 724K. Need to get this here engine harness installed on this here 6090. So let's get to it. So they put a cover on this unit right here. That's cool. I appreciate that. Makes routing easy, right? But yet the opposing side, they couldn't put a cover on it. Like, come on, god damn it. I gotta run this thing through the fucking machine. Come on. All right, guys, so Tech Tip Thursday. So you got a harness you gotta do, whether it be a new one or you gotta replace an old one or repair an old one. And you notice there's tape marks all around it, right? Boom, boom, right there. Well, if you didn't know this, deer, cat, I don't really know about anybody else, but I know deer, cat specifically, they actually put those tape marks in there for a reason. Because those tape marks are going to identify where clamps are going to go in the harness. So, just more you know there, boys. Break from the harness. Alright, so we got the old one out, all busted up, put a new one in, and back to the harness. boys, got everything all wrapped up here. Old harness out, new harness in. Really took time today and really wanted to secure this harness to hopefully alleviate all the deer problems, specifically around the bell housing. So we added some additional clamps to the starter and also twin tie clamps all the way up to the ECM. I'm not happy about this loop here, but it's better than the J loop that they had previously around the bell housing. So let's fire it up. Let's see if we did anything right. See if it starts. It doesn't sound promising. Oh, it seems like their throttle valve is still having issues. I don't know if it shorted it out from the old harness or what, but we're gonna call it for today because I'm out of it at this point. Have a good night, boys. By the way, in the old harness, I did find the short. Yeah. Whoa!
How y'all doing? It's Cooter again. I'm gonna show y'all how to install this here engine harness on this here loader. I will once again demonstrate. Take your harness, put it in the engine bay like so. Now it is installed. Follow me for more tips.
All right, guys, got a package in the mail. Been waiting for this one. Old Big Dad recommended this one. So, doing some service truck mods, you know, a little lighting in the inside now. So what do we get? That's right, we gotta try it. Let's plug it in, let's see what it does. Boys, look at that. Just look at that. We got some blue illumination, and we can adjust it by just holding this down. I like it. I like it. First thing in the morning, this thing's gonna look beautiful. All right, boys, everybody sing it with me. It's finally Friday. Let's get to it. Gonna need you and you. I think the 724 didn't burn down last night. I guess we should go ahead and fix it. And just for good measure, we're going to go and run the harness diagnostic tech one more time. Boys, we got that as an active code right now, and that's basically a mismatch during the learn. So we are having, and still have issues here, boys. All right, so at the ECM right now, so this is the ground side of the driver, also have supply voltage. Okay, so wire removed out of the ECM. ECM's putting out system voltage. All right, so sensor supply, good. Driver supply, good. Obviously open on the sensor because we have it disconnected. Remove the wire from the ground side of the driver and we're back to having 0 volts, so we don't have power supply on that wire. Volt supply being shorted may have taken out the ECM. Check the 744, which is the same machine basically, and see if it's laid out the same way. And I'm confused. 744 pinned out the same way. So while we wait for parts for the 724K, we've got the 300D that we got to finish up on. All right, guys, so if you recall the other day, obviously the belt had happened to hit the fan, which didn't hit the fan clutch. So we went ahead, put a new amp seal connector on here, rewired it. Thankfully, I was able to find the pinouts for the actual fan clutch. Oh, hell, that pulley ain't even that boo. But the bad news is that bushing right there where the race from the bearing is attached to, well, it's eating away. So I have to fucking order that. Awesome. Third time's a charm. Always much like the other one, this one is also seized. Alright, so we're all back installed here, so let's do this for the 15,000th time. Let's go ahead and relearn it and retest it. In progress. Look at that, boys. It passed. Alright, so we got her all fired up. Everything seems to be fine. Like last time, we actually have good values. It's running like there's not one problem. I put a line right there so I can monitor it. So we think we got that one issue fixed, and then guess what? Fuel dosing inlet pressure fault. Great! I guess I'll be doing the check ball fucking kit on this one too. Yay. Boys, it's Friday night. I'm going to the track. See you guys Monday. Have a good weekend. My guy, your deer is showing. Jesus Christ, you knew that was a 6090 right off the bat, and you were already assuming that it was a fuel dosing inlet pressure issue. No, it's not actually. This is for the air intake throttle valve, replacing the engine harness because it's got a short in it. And yeah, Still fucking struggling like a fat kid in dodgeball trying to figure that shit out. But it's a work in progress. But no, believe it or not, this 6090 in particular can actually push itself through a regen and doesn't throw codes for the fuel dosing inlet pressure. So that's a win. All right, 300G. We're gonna try this again. Got a new side cutter on. This one actually looks like it'll actually work. And so yeah, let's get her installed. At least I know the hardware should be right. So far, so good. Boom, boys. New side cutters put on. These ones actually fit in place. So we're gonna call that a win until they knock them off. So on to the next one. Big lighting repair.